Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick. Today, we're going to the phone lines. Yes, it is another Ask the Pulpit show, whatever. It's a call-in show. This is one of those shows where I go to the phone line and listen to the various voicemails that you have left me. It appears as though I have a pile of them. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. It feels like I do them a lot, but I haven't done one in a while. Which, I mean, I'm glad that it feels like I do it a lot because it means you guys are calling in. But, yeah. Now, here's the thing. This says that I have a lot of voicemails, but I only have calls from 4 people. So some of you called multiple times, but that's okay. Hopefully you bring something to the table. I'm sure you do. But before we get to that, we're going to get a cigar going. And so today, as it is with the Ask the Pulpit calls, I like a cigar that I'm familiar with. Something that I can just sit back and enjoy. And I can just kind of, smoke and concentrate on the one-sided conversation that I have with your voicemails. And so today, I am going to be firing up the Aladino, Aladino Fumanoche. It is it only comes in one size, 6.2 by 54. And all we know about the blend is that it's a Honduran Puro. I have done a drive time review of this cigar, so if you would like in-depth notes on it, as in-depth as I get while doing 75 down the highway, you can head on over to the YouTube, the Rumble, and the TikTok and find the drive time review of the Aladino Fumanoche. But today, we're going to just smoke it, and we're going to enjoy it. So it's time to cut the cigar, and the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. 2 Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows 2 Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family-owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. They need to know. They need to know that I sent you. And remember, that's the number 2, guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. So, get this guy cut and get it lit. It's also appropriate because Fumanoche means night smoke. And you guys, sometimes you don't realize, sometimes there's a big gap between when I record an episode and when you hear it. Then there's times like tonight when there is next to no gap between when I record this episode and when you guys hear it. And so it is definitely a night smoke. Yes, we're doing this one at night. All right. Well, while we fire this guy up, you're going to hear the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. Well, we have our cigar lit. We've gotten the business of the day taken care of. At least the early business of the day. So now let's go ahead and just jump right into it.
Shall we play a game?
You talking to me? I have a question for you.
You gotta ask me nicely.
Ask me about my wiener.
You got a question? You ask the 8-ball.
Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. Indeed, it is time for another Ask the Pulpit, where you guys call in with your comments, questions, concerns, criticisms, whatever you may have for me. And you can do so by calling the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. And then I play those, I'm trying to adjust the volume on my phone here. Play those, semi-regularly. I don't want to say monthly. I'd like it to be more frequently than that, but, we're at this point. Looks like the first one is from back May the 10th. So it's been a minute, but not like forever ago. So, all right, let's just go ahead and kick this thing off, and we will start with this message.
Well, hello, Nick and Cigar Pulpit parishioners. This is James from Grass Valley in
James?
Northern California, and I was just listening to the Cigar Authority draft, and I decided that I should tell you guys what I figured out, because there's no way my email would make it on the Cigar Authority, because here's the cheat code for the best bang for your buck on the Cigar Authority draft packs. Buy all 5 and smoke all of them, and then buy a 6th pack to make your voice heard and make your vote count, because the winner...
Sorry, my phone turned off. Hang on.
...is determined by most sales. Now, all the packs cost the same amount. It's $110 per pack. The average cigar pack, because there's 8 in one and 9 in another and 10 in 3 of them, and that breaks down to 9.4 cigars per pack at an average price of $10.50 per cigar. That's after the discounts are applied if you buy all 5 packs. Long story short, it turns it to $10.50 a cigar, 47 cigars. You guys do the math on that. Are you overpaying for a McAuliffe Color Series, which averages about $5? Yes. But are you underpaying by almost $30 for a Byron? Yes. Because if you do the math, it's $10.50 for that cigar. So anyway, buy 5 packs, smoke all of them, repurchase your favorite pack, and you win. Why did I do this? Because I was like, I wonder which is the best bang for my buck. And the answer is the pack you like is your best bang for your buck, especially if you buy all 5 packs. So anyway, check out the packs. Buy your favorite one and make your voice heard, or buy all the packs and then rebuy your favorite pack to make your voice heard, because the winner is determined by which pack is purchased the most and sold the most. So that being said, have a great afternoon. Everybody stay smoky and safe, and stay tuned to see what Nick has to say about this, and listen to the Cigar Authority to see how right or wrong you really were.
Okay, James. How much did Dave pay you for this? I mean, I know what Dave pays for the cut. And, whatever. And let me tell you, like, I do my best to make sure that he's getting his bang for his buck, with the old pulpit here. But Yeah, no, that was quite the commercial from James there for the packs. Here's the funny thing: he left that on May 10th. Let's go right now to Two Guys and just double check. Packs. Draft packs are available until June 3rd at 5 p.m. So you know what? I got this call in just under the wire. So yeah, it looks like any of you that were sitting on the fence and not buying packs up to now, maybe James's call convinced you, but yeah, you have until June the 3rd. That would be what? Wednesday. You have until Wednesday to get those purchased. Otherwise, you're shit out of luck, and you just wasted 3 minutes of your life by learning about the math of the draft packs. I'll say this: I was never bad at math. I wasn't bad at math in school. I just didn't like math. It just didn't like it. I didn't dig it. Especially the further along I got into it. And it's kind of a shame. Because had I liked math more, and maybe, perhaps, if there wasn't this kind of lazy streak that hits me every once in a while, I'll admit it's a personal failing of mine. I'm not perfect. I will admit that there are times that perhaps my desire to, do little and relax, takes over a bit too much, and suddenly I find myself, on the backside of a poor decision. It kicked in, and I remember coming out of high school, wanting to get into computers, wanting to do this whole internet thing, website design, blah blah blah, and all that. It fascinated me. I liked it. I took a course in high school, and I thought that was pretty fun. So then, when I went to college, and was inquiring about that path, that degree path, that's when they were like, "Well, there's a lot of math courses. You got to take all these math courses." And I said, "Fuck that," and ended up kind of going on my own for a little while, and eventually, took some windy roads, all sorts of windy roads, but eventually found my way to journalism, and so here I am. So instead of taking the vow of poverty that I did, that accompanies a journalism degree, I could be one of these guys making good money on computers. If it all weren't for a little bit of laziness and a dislike of math. But anyway, that's where I'm at in life. But all right, moving on to the next caller. Thank you, James. I appreciate the math lesson. And for those of you who are interested in, if you are interested in the show packs, he does make a valid point that there are some really good cigars in those draft packs, not show packs, draft packs, that you can get for a cheap deal if you go this way with it. You can get a really good cigar for a cheap deal, and there's some good stuff in all the packs. So yeah, arguably buying all 5, that's great. I personally don't have that kind of money. I'm getting bled dry on baseball cards. I'm kidding, of course. But, my point is, I don't have the draft pack money, especially for all 5. But okie dokie, moving on to the next caller here. All right.
Hey there, Nick. It's Boots from West Virginia. All right. So I have something to call about, but I was thinking about it, and I have two more things I'm going to add real quick.
Oh,
Number one, the voicemail starts at approximately 18 seconds. So if you're looking at your timer when you talk, you got till 3 minutes and 18 seconds to get your entire voicemail in. Additionally, one of the things I do, instead of having to remember the number or tofu pie, I make it very simple, and I've had your number programmed in my phone for a couple years now. And all I have to do is tell Siri, hey, call Cigar Pulpit, and it gets me right to you. So instead of remembering the number,
the easiest way?
Program it into your damn phone. There's no reason that we can't have you in our phone.
I love it.
So there's that. But here's what I'm calling about, and I hope you don't take this negatively.
Oh, shit.
Because honestly, I love the lemonade review. However, it's just not doing it for me. And this is why.
Okay.
So when you talk about a cigar, you never give a rating on it. You never give a number rating. You're very adamant about that. You've talked about it multiple times because everything's roughly in the same range. And I get not every lemonade's been in the same range. You've been fair about that.
I have.
However, what I need, not being a lemonade connoisseur myself, I need quantifiable information. I need to be able to put this on a rating so I can decide whether or not what you're saying is something I can agree with. So there's things that we can do better. Number one, we need categories. So like maybe a bitterness, 1 being the most bitter, 10 being the most sweet, right? So that's something we can do. And we can decide like, okay, where's this fall on the bitterness and sweetness scale? Then we assign that a score. Texture. Is it a pulpy lemonade? Is it a smooth lemonade? Is it thin? Is it thick, right? That could be a texture, could be another score. Sugar content. How many grams of sugar are going to be in that per 12 ounces, right? That could be another one. Availability. Is it only at Chipotle? Is it only at Two Guys? Is it all over nationwide? That could be another one. Price. I mean, how can you compare a $2 lemonade to a $20 lemonade? We gotta know what the price was. Packaging. Is it something that's bought up a local farmer market and it is, let's say, just a plain clear glass bottle, or does it have some really great labels? So that's something else we need to take into consideration. And then lastly, maybe a bonus category that says good to try, must try, well, will have again, have to keep on hand, and can't run out, right? And then each category can have a value of roughly 1 to 5. And then we need to find out what those values mean, such as grams of sugar.
And he ran out of time.
Hey, Nick, it's Boots here from West Virginia because I can't follow my own advice. I try to give good advice and don't listen to me because I can't follow it myself. So again, 3 minutes and 18 seconds. I wasn't even paying attention to time. So that only matters if you pay attention to time. But what I'm saying is quantifiable information for the lemonade reviews, right? So again, each category needs, let's say, a value of 1 to 5. And let's say it has too much sugar. Let's say it's a sugar bomb. And it's like rocking 50 grams of sugar per 12 or 20 ounces, whatever we decide. Well, then it doesn't get as many points. Let's say if it's a little bit healthier, it gets more points. However you want to do it, maybe more sugar is better for you. But again, we need to quantify that. But let's say each one gets 1 to 5 points, and then you can even turn that and saying, okay, this is worth so much of a percentage of the score, and that's how you come out with 9.5 or 8.2 or even 6.2, whatever it might be. But at least we can quantify and say, okay, this is where we're at, so other people who love a lemonade can say, yep, these match up, and I'm going to try that lemonade. I just think that could be something that's going to take your lemonade reviews to the next level. And, you know, take it or leave it, doesn't matter. Again, obviously, my advice sucks because I can't take it myself as far as timing goes. The hell do I know? Either way, really appreciate the content. Love hearing you. Sorry I haven't called in much more frequently. Either way, take care, stay smoky. Have a great day, Nick.
Well, if there's one thing I'm interested in doing, it's taking shit to the next level. So I will be going back over your first voicemail and taking notes of your different lemonade-o-meter categories because you put in some effort. You put in the legwork. and you gave me the categories. You straight up did the work. Now, I do disagree with your assessment that in terms of the sugar content, the sweetness, that the more sugar there is per like 12 ounces, that it should go lower on the score. I personally feel like I like a sweet lemonade. So that's where the bias of the lemonade-o-meter is going to come into play. In that regard, like the more sugar there is to it, probably the higher the score is going to be. But because that's where you get the bitterness category. If the bitterness is high, then needless to say, the sugar should be low, and corresponding vice versa. The bitterness is going to be low, so the sugar content should be high. And you personally know, I like a more bitter lemonade versus a sweet lemonade. So like take that into account when looking. That's the thing with all things with reviews. You have to take into account the reviewer. I've been very upfront and honest about my desire to have a more sweet lemonade than a bitter lemonade, and so that's why some of them have ranked higher than others, because I'm like, I like this one better. But I understand what you're saying. There should be some perhaps quantifiable data to back up my various claims. I do find it amusing that you said that I've been adamant about not doing scores on cigars on the podcast, and here I am doing scores on the drive time reviews. But that's a little different beast, And here's the thing: until I started doing the stars reviews for the two guys, Cigar Authority, I probably would have not been comfortable doing a numerical review or a numerical score on a cigar. Cause it's just not my thing. But I was kind of forced into doing that with that, and so it's kind of one of those like, well, I've gotten my feet underneath me a little bit. I feel comfortable. I feel like between the 35 cigars that I've smoked there, plus the now 14 drive time reviews that I've done. I mean, that's what, just shy of 50 cigars that I've given a numerical rating to. That's a good amount. I mean, I could put together a whole damn list at this point, and once I have, like that many, dude, you know my palate, you know where it's at, you know what my thoughts are on various things, and we can score accordingly from there. So, yeah, I think that's a fair amount. But anyway, I get what you're saying about the lemonade. I will take that under advisement. I will go back over your thing. I caught I grabbed my notepad entirely too slow, and you were rapid firing off those categories. So I'm going to have to go back and review those and make sure that I get them all. But but I will do that. Now, Boots, you were one of my frequent callers this month based upon the amount of voicemails in this thread here. So let's just go ahead and hear another message from Boots. This one from 2 days later.
Hey, Nick, it's Boots from West Virginia. Like it or not, I called back. I know it's kind of like a drought. You don't hear from me for a while, then I call too much. But either way,
I don't care.
Here I am. I'm listening to the accessories episode. And, first off, let me just say, I think you're doing your father and kind of disservice by redoing their episode as if they didn't do it good enough. I just think it's kind of a slap in the face when here they are just trying to help you out. That's beside the point. So I happen to hear something in the way you were speaking, and maybe I'm overanalyzing this, but here's my thing. So you're talking about the different lighters, and you're talking about the crazy lighter I've never heard of, like the Dixu 5000 from Ken. But then when you were talking about, you push the button and you have fire, right? And the way you said it triggered something in my head, and it goes back to Beavis and Butthead. And I'm like, no, he's never made a Beavis and Butthead comment before. But however, I know you like King of the Hill, which is also Mike Judge, and King of the Hill was a spinoff of Beavis and Butthead. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if maybe that's where you got your start for the love of King of the Hill, Butthead, or maybe I'm just off my rocker and that was not a reference to Beavis and Butthead. Maybe it was subconscious, maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't anything at all. Maybe I'm just reading into it. Either way, if it was something, I heard it. If not, forget I even called. Either way, brother, stay smoky. Have a good one. Happy Friday.
Dude, I love Beavis and Butthead. They're so fucking... Here's the thing, and this is something that sometimes people don't understand this. Like, I don't know. I don't always want intelligent entertainment. In fact, most of the time, I don't want to. Sometimes I want documentaries about this and that, whatever. I find learning things to be interesting. But oftentimes, when I'm sitting here in the garage of love, and I've got my cigar and I've got my TV going, I just want to turn my brain off and just relax and watch something entertaining, smoke my cigar, and chill. Very rarely is that a drama. Very rarely is that a horror flick. Very rarely is it much of anything that requires thinking. Because, quite frankly, I don't want that. I just want to zone out. I want to turn it off. Literally, as I am recording this right now, I have wrestling going. So, like, when I glance, to the side there, it's because some flashy, colorful bullshit just caught my eye. And I'm like, oh, hey, he just flipped all over the place. I mean, that's the thing. I have random stimuli. And yes, I love Beavis and Butthead because Beavis and Butthead is like the dumbest of the dumb. And I love it so much. And it's funny. It's funny. They're dumb. And they get their asses kicked on a regular basis. And the world just beats the shit out of them. And Beavis and Butthead Do America was a funny freaking movie. I make reference to Robert Stack as the FBI guy talking about give him a full cavity search and don't stop till you hit the back of his teeth all the time. I mean, I do that. I have used that so many times over the years. That's funny to me. And so yeah, when I got that lighter, this lighter right here, and I press that button, I go fire. That's 100% fire. That's 100% a Beavis and Butthead reference. So good call on you for picking that up. And yes, their neighbor was the kind of the prototype of Hank Hill from King of the Hill. And I love King of the Hill. I like Mike Judge. He does good stuff. He did Office Space, which is an amazing movie. He did Idiocracy, which we're fucking living in. Daria didn't do it for me. But Daria shouldn't have done it for me. Because when you think about Daria, that show, I'm losing so many people here that have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Daria was a spin-off of Beavis and Butthead. Daria was a girl that was in their class. And she was a little emo, but she was smart. And she always was like, kind of like ripping on Beavis and Butthead for being dumb. And so they spun it off. And I'm going to do it a disservice and call it like the girls version of Beavis and Butthead, because like it obviously was marketed towards the female MTV list or viewers. But anyway, Daria, it shouldn't have worked for me. I was into the ignorance of Beavis and Butthead. She was not, as a character. And thus, when she got her own spin-off show, the people who were watching that show should have related to her as a character, and thus not Beavis and Butthead. And so it works that I don't like, that I'm not a big fan of Daria. I'll watch it, but it's not my thing. Beavis and Butthead has come back on Paramount Plus. They've got, I think, a couple of seasons of new stuff, at least one movie where like these Beavis and Buttheads from an alternate timeline come in and bring them to the future, and it's whatever. It's weird, but it's great. It's dumb. And the new episodes, the new seasons has been great because they give you one cartoon at the beginning of the show, or of the two. You get two cartoons in a half an hour. And of the cartoons, one is Beavis and Butthead when they're kids. The other is when they're adults. And my God, the humor of those two as old, burnout, just lumps of shit getting through life. It's the funniest shit ever. And it's dumb. I freely admit that it is dumb. But I love some Beavis and Butthead. So good call on catching the fire. All right. Boots, you call back again, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. But yeah. And by the way, I wasn't disrespecting my dad and Ken by doing that episode again. I just wanted to get that information out to you guys. And I feel as though I did a good job. So there, I'm patting myself on the back. Ken and my dad did a wonderful job. I'm very appreciative of their effort to help me out, even though it commandeered my broadcast signal. But I still don't know how they did that. Anyway.
Hey, Nick, Boots here from West Virginia. First off, on a serious note, oh shit, I've already forgotten his name. I deeply apologize. I'm sure I could go back to the beginning of the episode, but I'm already here, so I apologize. However, I'm very sorry for your friend and his foot. One of the guys on our podcast, the exact same thing happened. Now he's missing a few toes as well and still battling it, right? There's a large risk it could get worse if he doesn't take care of it, but infection is a serious thing, and we always think, it's only for the sick or the elderly, but he has diabetes and we tease him about it because that's what guys do, right?
Yeah.
Someone has something they can't control and we bust their balls. Either we blame the diabetes, but really it was an infection. It just started as a simple infection and got terrible. So that being said, keep an eye on your friends and keep an eye on yourself and remind each other, we're guys, we're stubborn, we need to get help when it's needed. So, there's that. But the other thing I was calling about is you're looking for a way to label your cigars, and I've done it all. I've had over 2,000 cigars, and at first you think, okay, well, I'm going to label the ones that I'm going to age, and then you start smoking like, when the hell did I get this? And so you start thinking about the best way to do it. And I started off with yard sale stickers. Those little garage sale stickers you can get anywhere in the stationery department, all different colors. And I thought this is a good idea. Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it gets really old. You buy 20 cigars, and it gets really old labeled, and it gets really expensive.
I can see that.
Best way to do it, and it only helps with the date. It doesn't really help with where. But the best way to do it is to get a pricing gun on Amazon. You can get them for like $15, $25. It comes with 2,000 stickers and extra ink, and they're not the best pricing guns. You don't want to use them for like a store, but they're more than good enough for cigars. And little price tag essentially size. It fits perfectly on the band or on the cellophane. You turn the knob, you stamp it out, bam, 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 bam. 5 seconds later, and you got 20 cigars all marked up. It's quick, it's easy, it's by far and large the best way to do it. Especially if you have a large collection. It's no mess, no muss, no fuss. Very quick, very easy, and it's so easy that you don't hesitate to do it. Like before, I'd put them all on a shelf and I'd forget, and I go, okay, well, eventually I got to sit down and do all this. Not with the pricing gun. Although those stickers might help you if you want to figure out where you got something from, if you want to remember, because you're going to age it a long time, maybe. I don't have a good answer for that. I tend to remember at least an idea of where I got it from. I can narrow it down to 2 places. But either way, well, ideally one of 2 places out of all the shops I go to. But regardless, pricing gun's the way to go. Stay smoky. Have a great one. Boots out.
Boots out. All right. Here's a follow-up to that, so we'll listen to that and we'll respond.
Hey, Nick. Boots here from West Virginia. I'd feel like a giant asshole if I didn't call back and apologize to Mike for forgetting his name during that episode. But in all honesty, I wish you nothing but the best and a fast and speedy recovery. Again, a good buddy of mine is going through the exact same thing right now, so I kind of know what you're going through. I feel for you, brother, and if I could help you any way, I wish I would be there in a heartbeat if I could. So I really apologize. Again, praying for a quick and speedy recovery. And either way, stay smoky.
Well, that's nice. Thank you, Boots. So as for the labeling of cigar, I like the price gun idea. And I don't know how many like spots you have on a price tag. Because obviously you're going to need up to 4 for a date. As many as 2 for the month and as many as 2 for the year. Because month wise, yeah, you got 1 through 9, but then you have 10, 11, 12. So, you're going to need that. So if you have a price gun that has 5 spots, you could potentially add that extra numeral at the front that would designate 1 you bought, 2, maybe Cigar Authority show pack, 3, whatever subscribe. You know what I mean? You kind of have a running list of places that you could have gotten it. I don't know. That's an interesting point, but I like the price gun idea. Here's the thing. I have a ton of cigars and I don't know where any of them came from. So at this point, I'm kind of already in. It's more of a okay, do I start from this point onward? I don't know. It's look, I have so many projects like that I don't know if I'm ever going to get to that. We'll see, but I appreciate the input because it very well may happen. You never know. I expanded out my spreadsheet this year in terms of my, tracking of all my cigars. So I might very well expand out and start tracking where I procured the cigars, next year. You never know. But Boots, thank you for all the calls. I appreciate it greatly. Okay, moving on. Got another caller here.
Hey there. This is Noah calling.
What up, Noah?
So I was reading this morning that Schlitz Beer is stopping production. It's a brewery out of Wisconsin.
I'm aware of Schlitz.
And they have been in business for over 175 years.
Fucking sad.
So to relate this to cigars, I was thinking, what long-standing company, if they stop production, would affect you the most, or you would be most troubled by? Obviously, we'll change the numbers for cigars, but let's say any business that's been in business, any cigar company that's been in business longer than 15 years.
Ooh.
I look forward to your answer. Bye.
That's an interesting question right there. That is an interesting question because, okay. So Aladino, they didn't start that terribly long ago. I don't know when Aladino actually first started, but they're not 15 years old. I'll say that much. We're talking, man, what companies that are 15 years or older would I be devastated if they went away? I mean, I smoke my fair share of Perdomos, and they're at least 15 years old. So, that would be a reasonable answer. That would be one. Well, let's go to the list. Let's go to the list. The list is life. And see, I smoke a lot of JC Newman. I didn't realize. I mean, I should have realized because I've done this list now. This is my 3rd year doing this, and I smoke a lot of JC Newman. And they are a long-standing older company that I would be pretty upset to see go away. And they're one of those brands that I smoke, and it just kind of sneaks in. I smoke the shit out of them, but I'm not I don't know. I'm the fanboy. It's I'm not out there oh my God, but there are some that I really love, and I do fanboy and geek out over them. Villiger. That's another one. Old, long-standing company. I smoke the shit out of those. So I'd say any of those 3 would be a reasonable answer. Yeah, because otherwise, a lot of these companies Well, man, I gotta fix that. Seeing a typo that gets repeated a lot on my list here. LFD. I don't smoke as many of those as I do the other brands I just named, only because there needs to be more shops in my area that carry them. Yeah, I'd say, if I had to narrow it down, I'd say it's probably going to be a fight between Perdomo, JC Newman, and Villiger. And, if we go by my list of the past 2 years, Perdomo would win that out. If we go by my list of this year, I'd actually say JC Newman might be the one winning that out right now. So yeah, I would reasonably say that the corresponding brand for me to Schlitz beer would be JC Newman. Obviously, I don't want any brand to go out of business and under. I'm sad about Schlitz. I don't drink Schlitz. Hell, I don't even know if I can get Schlitz here. But I don't want to see anybody go out of business, and I definitely don't want to see history go away. I think it's cool that you have a brand that's been around that long that's still going. Anyway, so for what it's worth, Noah, to answer your question, I'd say JC Newman. All right, now you call back.
Noah again here. I got a more fun one. So, fair warning, I was drinking a heavy amount when I came up with this.
Oh, Jesus.
So you get $50 million
you are from Wisconsin.
at the end of the year. And to get that money, you have to agree to be mugged and beaten potentially every time you leave the house for a year.
Oh, my God.
So to detail it down, you can't be attacked until you leave your property. You can only get attacked one time a day. And you have to make sex noises when you are attacked. You can fight back.
What the fuck?
But you can't use weapons. Also, the assailant doesn't use weapons. Every time you get attacked, you have to pay $10,000 out of your $50 million pool. And basically, a guy is hired to follow you for a year. Anytime you leave the house, he can mug and beat you. Now, you could elude him and never once get attacked, but presumably he would figure out your routine more so towards the end of the year. So do you do it? There's ways around it. You could theoretically just DoorDash everything, but with work and family, I'm sure you're leaving the house at some point. Also, you can't tell anybody about this. Do you do it? Record your answer.
First of all, so I have to pay $10,000 every time I get beaten. And I'm theoretically getting beaten daily for a year. So that's 365 days. So right there, out of the $50 million that I get paid out at the end of the year, I am paying out $3.65 million to get my ass kicked every day. Now, that's assuming I get my ass kicked every day. But let's be real, guys. I've said it so many times on this show. I'm a lover, not a fighter. My battle cry is not in the face. I'm not a fighter. So, now I might get really good at fighting by the end of a year if I've got somebody kicking my ass every single freaking day. And I can't elude them, potentially. Although I don't know how the hell that's going to happen. It's not like there's that many places for me to get in and out of my house, here. And And like, how severe is the beating? Am I going to the hospital every day? Are they breaking bones? Or is it just kind of like a light beating to where I maybe get like a scratch on the forehead and a bruise or two? You know, maybe I'm a little sore the next day. But then again, the next day, I go outside and I get my ass kicked. Now, I guess there are days that I don't go outside. And as you said, I can DoorDash. I can find ways around going out every day. So let's just hypothetically say that only half the days of the year I go out. Okay? So now we're talking 365 divided by 2. That's 182 days. That's still a potential 182 and a half. We'll just round up and say 183. We'll round up and say 183. That's still a potential 183 beatings that I'm looking at for the year. It is $50 million, though. And if I only have to do it for a year, because, I mean, I'm not greedy. I don't need to do this multiple years in a row to make money. Would I do this? Can I armor up? Can I wear like thick padding and a helmet and armor up to where like he's beating me, but potentially I'm like armored up and blocking, you know, the beating? Because if he can't use a weapon and it's just bare fists, you know, I'll put on a bicycle or I'll put on like a football helmet and protect the cranium and, you know, that sort of thing. I mean, that's not the end of the world. You know, Noah, I might take you up on that. I mean, I don't want to, and I want to see the $50 million. I want that secured in a very safe place so that the minute the year is over with, I get paid, minus my, you know, beating fees, of course, which I still think that's bullshit. Although I guess that's my reward for eluding the beater is if I elude the beater every day, then I get the full $50 million. But, yeah. I could dig it. It'd be a challenge. It would suck. It would easily be one of the worst years of my life. But it would have a really good upside. And it would be nice for once to have a bad year that you knew, yeah, I'm in a really bad year, but at the end of it, it's going to fucking rock, you know? That would be the only thing. Because oftentimes, when you have a bad year, you have no guarantee that it's going to end. You have no guarantee that you're going to have a better year on the end of it. It could parlay into another bad year. I mean, let's look at everything since 2020. It's not like things have been great consistently since 2020, you know? It's like, it's just what level of suck are we at? So, yeah. Would be kind of nice to know at the end of a really bad year, at least you've got a big payday coming. So yeah, Noah, I think I would be down for that. I think I would be down for that challenge. I think I would do that. I'd have to get very creative about how to, you know, whatever, or get things handled. But I think we could do it. I could arrange for the school bus to drop Max off at my house on my weekends and pick him up, you know, when my weekend is concluded. So I wouldn't have to take him to school. Because that would be embarrassing, getting my ass kicked in front of my son. And hell, all he wants to do is watch his cartoons, play Legos, and color and all that anyway. I mean, he's a homebody of a kid. So realistically, like, we wouldn't have to go out that many times. I mean, eventually we'd have to go out. Chipotle would get pretty expensive DoorDashing it all the time. I'll say that much. Although it's expensive anyway. But, Yep. I think that's it. I think that's my conclusion. I think my conclusion is I will take the beatings for the money. All right. Got 2 more calls here.
Hey, Jerry Pulaski here.
Jerry Pulaski.
I'm just going to come right out and say it there. I have a bit of a confrontational phone call here, as it turns out, Mr. Miller there, directed at you. As it were, I am reasonably sure that it has been you that has been calling me from a restricted number, and in the voicemail, using a Bane voice, you're asking for nudes repeatedly. I don't mind your request, as it turns out. I just don't. I just would appreciate some more less disguise there, and just come right out and say it there. Anywho, I am willing to oblige there. I did, in fact, try to send a nude for over 3 hours there, as it turns out, only to find out that I do not have a camera on my phone, as it were. I did purchase a Nikon from a nearby estate sale. Now, the problem is, as it turns out, I don't have a darkroom to develop this film. I do know that you said you have plenty of darkrooms in your neighborhood, or more East St. Louis. I could go there and develop them, as it turns out. Anywho, there, I would just appreciate you come out in the open there and clean it, clear the record there, and just say you want the nudes there, so I can send you the photos there. I do have a kind of a old woman that swallowed the fly situation on my hands here until I find a darkroom. But I look forward to your answer and your acceptance. Thank you.
Jerry, I have not been calling you requesting nude pictures. So unfortunately, the mystery continues. You're going to have to figure out who has been calling you in a Bane voice to request nude pictures. I'm not entirely sure how that would go. If it would be like that whole, like, you know, give me the. I can't do the Bane. God, that was horrible, and I apologize to everybody listening. That was the minute I started. I was like, "You're in over your head, Miller. You're doing a poor job of this." And yeah, Tom Hardy in that Bane mask from the third Batman. I can't do that. I can't do that. But yeah, no, I have not been calling you requesting nudes. And I mean, I do find it endearing that you're, you know, going with the old school photography, the darkroom and everything like that. I mean, you know, you're taking nudes, and I mean, you don't even know if they're coming out okay, and until you develop them. I mean, that's a process, man. So, yeah, the only thing I'd say is, you know your angles, because angles are so important. But anyway, all right. One more call, and then we'll move on.
Hey, Mr. Miller, listener Jay. So I was listening to your lemonade review the other day, and you need to have an intro for it, like an old school kind of, here's Nick Miller with a lemonade minute type thing, and then you have to kick it to yourself and say, thank you, Nick. Also, too, you need a lemonade-o-meter, like the strength-o-meter, but a lemonade-o-meter. 3 decimal points, and you can rank them. You know, have a little chart on there. You can move it up and down. Just go above and beyond the strength-o-meter. It'd be awesome. That's it. Stay smoky. Have a nice day.
Jay, I appreciate that. And it goes right back to what Boots was talking about with having quantifiable evidence and various categories. I think we could make this into a thing. I think a lemonade-o-meter, you know, with the quantifiable reasons that it got this various score, to put it on there instead of just this arbitrary, like, yeah, I feel it's stronger than this, you know, whatever. I like it. I like it. I like where your head's at. You know, you and Boots, a lot of coordination going on there inadvertently between the two of you. I like it. As for having a little bumper where I kind of like say, like, you know, hey, it's Nick with Lemonade Minute, you know, whatever. Yeah, no, I'll get to it at some point. It was kind of one of those things like, how long is this bit going to last? And I'm kind of enjoying it. I don't know if you all are, but I'm enjoying it because I'm trying different lemonades. Although at some point or another, I'm worried I'm going to run out of lemonades. It's been much more difficult for me to track down different lemonades as of late. And so that is a concern of mine, is that I may have boxed myself into a corner with lemonade here to where I don't have as many try as I think I do. So that would be my only concern. But I need to check some places. Like, you know, when I was out in Cincinnati, I was this close to go and buy a Jungle Jim's to see what kind of lemonade I could find there. Because I figured, boy, if I can find anywhere, I bet Jungle Jim's would have a bunch of really unique lemonades. But I didn't. I also did not go by the Kroger, Meyer, whatever, in Indianapolis when I was out visiting my dad. So quite frankly, it comes down to time, when I'm driving back from those places, I'm like, I got to get back. I don't want to take forever. And so, and for me to go to Jungle Jim's, that was going to tack on shit, man. That would have tacked on at least 2 hours to my drive. Cause you're driving out of your way to get to one and then you get there and, come on, you don't just run into Jungle Jim's. It's not like a quick stop. You're not just going in and going out. You're gonna take your time, and whatever else. So like it's a time thing. But yeah, I've still got I think 3 or 4 in the fridge that I still need to review. So the lemonade review is gonna stick around for at least another month. But it may parlay. It may parlay. It may be if lemonade becomes an issue, if lemonade becomes something that I just cannot continually get, then it may be one of those things where I have to switch it to what am I pairing with a cigar this time? And just have wacky shit that I'm trying. Like, will it pair? Ooh, now there's an idea. Will it pair? And just try various things with a cigar. And like, does it pair? Yes, it pairs. No, it does not pair. That kind of thing. I don't know. Something to be considered. There's still advancement. But yes, I think at least in the short term, we can do a lemonade-o-meter because I have been keeping track of all of the scores that I have been giving them. I have a running list going in my phone, and as of now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 lemonades reviewed. I mean, that's kind of crazy to me. I didn't expect this to last more than a month. I figured, this bit's gonna run its course pretty quick. And but you guys like reached out and you're like, you gotta try this lemonade, you gotta try that lemonade, and whatever. And it's like, okay, I have other lemonades that I still need to try. And then of course ones that I come across. So like, yeah, you guys, there's been a little bit more buy-in on the lemonade thing than I thought there'd be. So, but see, that goes back to a problem or not a problem, but a continual, thorn in my side that I have yet to figure out, which is I don't know what the hell you people want. I do things on this show sometimes, and I think, my God, this is gold. This is gold. The parishioners are going to love this. I'm going to hear about it all week. It's going to be nuts. They're going to take it. They're going to run with it. They're going to do all kinds of shit with it. And I hear crickets. And then I do something totally stupid, totally out of left field, something that I make a random comment about a pancake making machine on my nightstand, and I get a message about how funny that was. I mean, like, it's that kind of thing. I get like goofy little one-off things. That's what you guys pick up on. And you're totally unpredictable is my point. I have no idea what you guys are going to glom onto and what you're not. Case in point, for those of you who have been listening forever, Larry the Mute. Larry the Mute used to do his cigar reviews on here. And Larry was kind enough to review all of the gas station cigars like Backwoods and Black and Milds and those kind of things. And he's mute. So when we would throw it to him, it'd be 30 seconds of silence, it was utterly ludicrous. I enjoyed it. Larry's a good guy, and he put in a lot of effort into those reviews. But it was funny. I thought it was funny, but whatever. You guys, not only, that's one that I guess I did, maybe I was happy you glommed onto. Because not only Did you appreciate Larry? You guys created a whole friggin' backstory for Larry. Now, I know Larry's backstory, and it's what it is. It's way more simple than you think. But you guys are the ones coming up with Larry having an auction service, and Larry's wife being one-legged, so that when he would buy socks for her, he would give her one, and he'd keep the other sock as his travel humidor. That sort of thing. I mean, like, it's funny as shit. And you guys, it's just the listeners, you guys just taking something really small and random and running with it. And I appreciate it greatly. But for the love of God, sometimes I do things and I'm like, this is the thing right here. And you leave it sitting there. Maybe you appreciate it and you don't tell me. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe there's more appreciation and more love, but not enough to tell me, And that's fine. I see entertainment, I see content all the time that I think, man, that's fucking good. Do I leave a comment for that person and tell them, I really appreciated this. This was funny. Thank you. No, I don't. So maybe I'm part of the problem. Maybe I need to be more open about my appreciation of content that I think is worthy of my time. And maybe that's what I'm at, saying, like, maybe you guys are like me and that you see things that I do and you're just like, that was funny. I like that. But like, you don't express it. Or maybe it just doesn't hit. And if that's the case, after 7 years of doing this, I, for the love of God, don't get you guys yet. And that's what it boils down to, is I don't know if I get you guys yet. I think I do, but sometimes I don't. And, such is life. But that's where it comes down to the fact that I do this show for me. You guys just listen to it. I mean, I want it to be entertaining for you, but ultimately at the end of the day, the minute this isn't fun for me, I'm done. So, I'm having fun. I'm doing lemonade reviews because I like lemonade and I want to try different lemonades and I want to figure out which lemonade tastes most like the one at Two Guys that I really enjoyed. So I'm taking you along on the ride of trying a bunch of different lemonades with me. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure this out, but I'm going to put in some effort. I'm going to expand out the lemonade reviews. And I'm going to make a lemonade-o-meter, and we're going to make this a thing, because you guys are evidently asking for it. You want it. You want there to be more to the lemonades. They need to be a more thought-out, process than just me winging it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that you want more effort. I will put in more effort for you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for the calls. Everybody, you can call the Ask the Pulpit hotline at area code 863-874-0000 or tofu pie with no E 0000, or put it in your phone as Cigar Pulpit and then just be like Boots and just ask your phone to call Cigar Pulpit and it'll do it. And then you have the number. You don't have to memorize the number. You just have me stored. Your phone can store thousands and thousands and thousands of contacts. You got all the room. Can I just be one? I just need to be one. Just leave the hotline number in your phone as Cigar Pulpit, and I'll be one. And, then you can just call Cigar Pulpit and bam, share your thoughts. I might get more thoughts out of you if you do that. You don't have to think about the number. So, everybody, do me a favor. Save the number right now in your phone. Stop what you're doing. Pull over. Stop what you're doing. 863-874-0000. And give me a call. Well, I'm making my way through the Fumanoche. Fumanoche. This is going to be, I'm going to say this, and hopefully it doesn't ruffle feathers, but I'm just going to say it. Fumanoche is one of those cigars that, depending upon the weather, can smoke either really well or like shit. And if it's too cold, Fuma Noche smokes like shit. So, like, in the wintertime, I tend to not like this cigar in the wintertime. I tend to think it smokes poorly in the wintertime. It's definitely more of a warmer weather cigar. Humidity plays a role in it, though, because if it's a little wet, a little humid in the air, a little tacky, it goes out pretty easily. And I know from talking to Tramac that has to do a lot with the blend. There is whatever is going on in this blend. He hasn't told me, so it's all proprietary still, Justo. Whatever's going on in this blend, keeping it lit is a legitimate concern. The burning of it is a legitimate concern. They had those problems when they were developing it. So, they finally got it to a point that it, will burn. But the Fuma Noche is a temperamental little bitch. It definitely can be one that, if the environment is not right, you might have issues. So I keep hitting it with some flame just to keep it going, because it does kind of want to keep going out on me. But that's okay. We're making it work. I will say, burn line, pretty straight. It's straight as it can be, given the fact that, like I said, I keep hitting it with fire. The ash is coming off nice and clean. It's not like I'm having like big chunks or big, whatever. That can happen sometimes when it's cold. The ash on this is not the best at times when it's cold. Draw on it's been good. So I've been digging it. You just kind of got to baby it a little. That's all. All right, moving on in the show. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. All right, guys. So, once again, haven't watched a whole lot. I do plan on watching quite a bit this weekend. You have no idea how busy the month of May is for me. May is a very, very busy month for a lot of reasons. May is busy with my newspaper because there's a lot of graduations, things of that nature. There's a lot going on in May. May is a busy month because I'm out in Indy twice, both for the Grand Prix and then the 500. The alternating weekends that I'm not out in Indy for races, I have my son. And Erica came up to visit for a handful of days in May, which was great, but, that's something going on. And so my TV watching time in May has been very, very minimal. Keeping up on my wrestling has probably been the bulk of it. And, two shows a week on TV plus pay-per-view. I mean, that's that adds up. But it's neither here nor there. And again, that goes back to what I was talking about with the Beavis and Butthead. I like mindless entertainment. Pro wrestling is one of the most mindless things I can possibly watch. It is totally a male soap opera. It is this guy gets pissed off at this guy. They jabber jabber for a few weeks, and then eventually they beat the shit out of each other. And it's wonderful. And it's great. And it's one of those things that it's super mindless. There's very little difference between it and like General Hospital or Days of Our Lives or any of these freaking long-standing, soap operas. It's just that instead of people like talking forever and ever and ever, these guys just beat the shit out of each other, and that's fine. Along those lines, every once in a while, I did have time this week to branch off and watch something different, and but it's still in that pro wrestling category. I watched the Hulk Hogan documentary series on Netflix. It's 4 parts, and it's basically the life of Hulk Hogan. Now, let's be real. It's produced by Netflix Sports, and Netflix is in a partnership with WWE, and WWE, they had a lot to do with this documentary. So, needless to say, there are parts of this documentary that are a little whitewashed. Like, they spent a lot of time talking about his early days and the 80s and a little bit of the 90s when he was in WCW, because they have to. But, like, they really spent a lot of time on his time in the 80s and Hulkamania and all that and everything. They most definitely did not spend a lot of time in the latter, let's say, 15 to 20 years of his life when shit was really going bad for Hulk Hogan. They completely glossed over wife number 2. I mean, you wouldn't even know there was that he was married 3 times if at one point they didn't have like a one or 2 sentence statement talking about how his second divorce was really, really ugly, which then implies that there was a second wife. She's not mentioned at all in this thing. I mean, it is all his first wife, who was his wife at the time of the VH1 Hogan's Knows Best show, and his third wife, which she's barely in it at all either, but she had to be because obviously they were married when he passed away, and so they needed to get that interview in there and everything. But realistically, the second wife was completely ignored. All the drama with his kids, completely ignored. Glossed over his racist statements that he made. They caused him some grief right after the whole sex tape thing. The sex tape, that was acknowledged, but he was made out to be a fucking hero because he sued Gawker and won. And it was like, oh, I'm protecting people's privacy and blah, 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 blah. So they even spun that to make it out like he's a hero, which was weird. So all the controversy around Hogan, they managed to find a way to smooth and become not that big of a deal when it was a big deal. Hogan, he said some shit. Those racist and he didn't properly apologize. He apologized, but he didn't properly apologize. And that's briefly acknowledged after his death. Or maybe it was acknowledged because they did showcase when he came out on the first episode of Raw on Netflix and he was booed out of the building. But they turned that into, it was politics, because by that point he'd come out and supported and endorsed Donald Trump for president in 2024. And they made it out like, the people in LA are booing him because of Donald Trump. Here's the thing. I don't think it was all because of Donald Trump. I think it had to do with his racist comments. I think it had to do, there was just a lot of shit with Hogan that added up over the years, and eventually it caught up to him. There's that line from the Dark Knight, you either you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. He lived long enough to see himself become the villain, and he lived. Yeah, he should have pulled away, but he was addicted to the spotlight, and that, if anything, is very clear in this documentary. He was addicted to the spotlight, and it's sad. There's a lot of aspects of it that are sad. There's some parts that are pretty cool. And there are people in this documentary that hate his fucking guts that are at least acknowledging it. Jesse the Body Ventura is in it, and Jesse the Body hates his guts. The whole bit about Hogan being the reason that pro wrestlers aren't unionized, that's not even acknowledged in this thing. And that's why Jesse the Body hates his guts, is Jesse was getting the wrestlers to want to unionize. And, look, it could have been good for them. It would have been better. I mean, you wouldn't have all these old timers from Hogan's days and whatnot, struggling for money and having to GoFundMe in order to pay for their medical shit and everything like that if they would have properly had some representation at the time that they needed it. But what happened was Jesse the Body got the guys to want to unionize. Hogan went and ratted them out to Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon came in and quashed it, killed it. And that's the end of that. And Jesse found out, because it came out during the steroid trial in the 90s when the feds came after Vince McMahon and Hogan had to testify. It came out, and Ventura has never forgiven him. And there's a lot of guys that shouldn't forgive him. Because, it would have been good for them, but such is life. But anyway, that was completely ignored. That wasn't even brought up in the documentary. But even with that, going back to what I was talking about, Ventura acknowledged, like, dude, he could do a promo like nobody's business. He was, love him or hate him, he was the top, blah, 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 and all that. I mean, it was, there were aspects of it that I thought were good. It just, it went halfway there. It didn't go all the way there. And I don't think it ever would have with WWE being involved in the production of it, because they're not going to let their ever classic golden boy, they have to acknowledge some of the shit, but they're not going to go deep into it. They're not going to completely call it like it is. But anyway, so that's what I watched. I watched that. And it was entertaining. There's a new show by the Duffer Brothers, who did Stranger Things, that is on Netflix now. And it's I think aliens are involved with that, but it's like older folks. So like Alfred Molina, who played Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2, he's I think the main guy. And that looks intriguing. I might give that a shot. There's a show on Amazon, Spider Noir. It's Spider-Man, but with a 1920s kind of crime noir twist. And Nicolas Cage plays the Spider-Man character in that. And they put it out both in color and black and white. It looks freaking great in black and white in the trailer, and the trailer looked really, really good. So I'm actually really intrigued to watch that. So, there's the reviews on it have been really good as well. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Movie wise, there's not really anything that's out right now that I give a shit about. He-Man comes out June 5th. And I know that's going to be pure popcorn movie, brain candy. But, pardon me. Oh, that smoke was going right up my nostril. And I knew that was going to happen. And where am I at? 1:18. Okay. I need to remember to go back and mute that at the appropriate time, because you guys do not want to hear me sneeze. Anyway, sorry. Apologize. Yeah, that's what's going on there. So, all right, let's do this.
Guess what, motherfucker?
It's time for 3 cigars that I have smoked and enjoyed this week. Let's bring up the list. The list is life. All right. The first one I want to highlight is one that I got at PCA. And Sean smoked it there. I did not. I waited. I smoked it here in the garage, chilling out, watching the Hogan documentary. And that would be the ATL La Carousel. It was good. I have 2 of them. I'm looking forward to trying the other one. I kind of just spaced out and smoked it. So, I gotta admit, I wasn't worried about flavor notes or any sort of intricacies of it. So the second one that I have, I'm going to really take some time and dive into. But the ATL La Carousel, I enjoyed it. I thought it smoked wonderfully. It was a stronger cigar. It did last quite a while, and I definitely look forward to giving it a second, more thorough look. But for those of you in the Atlanta area, be on the lookout for that, because when that hits, it's a good one. It's a good one from ATL. And I guess technically whoever else carries ATL cigars around the country. I mean, they are not just in Atlanta. It's just they're heavily concentrated there. So I figured that would be a good place that you're likely to try and find them. The second one that I smoked, I broke into whatever is remaining, I'm not even entirely sure, of my box of J.C. Newman Diamond Crown Black Diamonds, and I smoked one of those. Always a good cigar. I've had that box, number of years now, and it always smokes so well, and I always enjoy it. So I don't know. I assume those are still available. I don't know if they are or not. If they're not, they should be. And if they are, then if you're looking for a bit stronger Diamond Crown than what you normally would get, then give it a shot. It's a good one. Finally, the last cigar I want to highlight that I smoked it on the show. It was the Artista Falou. Super good. I'll be honest. That was my first time smoking that cigar. It was my first time smoking something from, I guess, what is arguably the core line from Artista. I've smoked Buffalo 10s. I've smoked Big Poppies. I smoked the Big Poppy Hall of Fame. So I smoked other cigars from Artista. But that was the first time I'd smoked the Falou. And holy shit, it was really good. And I wish I would have had more time with it. Because I wish I had a box of the damn things. I would burn through that. That was good. Yeah, so if you are near a shop that carries Artista, give that a try. If you're not, I do know that twoguyscigars.com carries the Falou. So that would be, you know what? Here, let's do this real quick. I'm curious about something, actually, two guys. Man, between the whole call from James about the whatchamacallit, draft packs, and then now they're getting all kinds of freaking love. Sure enough, it is listed, not just listed, it is listed, it has a new labeling on there. So they must have either reblended or maybe it just came back out, whatever. But the Diamond Crown Black Diamond is listed on twoguyscigars.com. I have been smoking a Toro size, which is the Emerald. It's a 6x52. It comes in two other sizes. One is the Radiant, which is 4.5x54, and another one is the Marquee, which is 5.25 by 56. So kind of a littler guy, and then are you a fat Robusto? But for what it's worth, the Emerald is the Toro. That's what I've been smoking. And shit, it's not a cheap date. So the Emerald Black Diamond, or the Diamond Crown Black Diamond Emerald, is $25.29 for a single. You can get a box for $449.99 over on Two Guys, and then let's just search Falou. Come on. Either my Wi-Fi is going slow, the website's going slow, something's going slow. You're killing my timing here. I want to see what the Falou is on here, because I know they have it. Well, that's some straight up dead air. All right. Well, I guess at some point maybe. Oh, there it goes. All right. So the Falou Toro runs $11.89 for a single, and a box is $207.99. It also comes in a Robusto 5x54. That's what I smoked. I would want it as a Toro, which is a 6x50, but whatever. But the Robusto is $11.29. The box is $198.99. So you're saving 60 cents by buying it by the single if you do the Robusto versus the Toro, and you're saving what, $9, $8, $9 by the box if you buy the Toro box versus the Robusto box. So that comes down to what Vitola you prefer. But yeah, that would be what you can do there. But anyway, those are what I've smoked this week, and I have enjoyed them. So, all right, guys, I am available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I am on Facebook, where I have the Pulpit Parishioners group. You can find that. It's a private group. Request to join, and I will let you in there. I'm on Twitter/X. You can watch the show on YouTube and Rumble. Also on YouTube and Rumble on Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Central Time, I put up my drive time review for the week. That is on YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok. TikTok continues to fail. I don't know how long I will worry about TikTok. But anyway, it's on there. Ask the Pulpit. You can give the hotline a call. Area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Or just save it in your phone, because then you don't have to worry about what the number is. If you are not signed up for the Cigar Chronicle, the newsletter that I do, that comes out every month, once a month. I'll probably be worrying about that this weekend. And that'll come out later this month. It's, cigar news, some reviews, lists of upcoming announced releases. It's interesting news. It's good, to help keep up. And it's got some goofy shit in there as well. So if you're not signed up for that, head on over to cigarpulpit.com. Little box pops up. You can put your email in on there, and you'll be good to go. And then finally, for those of you who are interested, tonight, this episode drops on Friday, May 29th. Tonight, Friday, May 29th, 6 p.m. Central Time, we are having the May Parishioners Zoom Herf. If you are interested in that, if you are already in the Parishioners group on Facebook, there should be a post where I've announced that has the login information in the comments section. I believe, let's check. Let's just check. I say this and I probably should know. It's on Instagram. It is on Instagram. There is a comment on Instagram that I put the login information. Links on Instagram are fucked up. So, you'll have to kind of copy paste and, whatever. But anyway, but yeah. We're having our Zoom meetup. Oh, and by the way, if you're not on social media, shoot me an email, Nick, N-I-C-K, at cigarpulpit.com, and I will be happy to email you the Zoom information so that you get it that way. But yeah, we're going to get on there at 6 p.m. Central. We're just going to smoke. We're going to hang out. It's going to be super chill, super casual. It's fun. I want to start doing this, one time or so a month. I have May 29th for May. June, we're doing it twice. We're doing it Thursday, June 25th, and Friday, June 26th. Saturday, July 25th will be our one in July. And then Thursday, August 27th, we'll round out the summer in August there. And then I'll have dates for the rest of the year later on. But anyway, yes. So we have the Zoom Herf. If you want to come on and smoke with us, it would be great. So I hope to see a lot of you there. All right, guys, I have taken up more of your time than I thought I was going to with this episode. Anyway, I've enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. Give me a call on the hotline and leave your calls for the next Ask the Pulpit, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much, guys. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Everybody stay safe. Stay safe. Yeah. The Fumanoche, I like it, but it is like I said, I called it a temperamental bitch, and it is a temperamental bitch because it'll definitely go out if you're not paying attention to it. So, it's a clingy woman. It needs attention. All right. Later, guys.